Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Jana Konovalenko, and today I want to talk to you about the mental load of running a dental orthodontic practice. So, what I'm going to cover in today's episode is the two types of mental load, the two types of exhaustion that you might be experiencing, where they're coming from, and how to decrease them. So, let's dive in. I hear from so many of my clients and so many people online about the mental load, about constantly thinking about our practice, being at work and feeling guilty if you're a mom for not being at home and feeling guilty about not doing enough for work, being at work and feeling guilty for not finishing the case better or for the work that you've delivered and making it better and not being a great enough leader and not having enough time. Like there's just the constant weight of perfectionism, not enoughness, and just constantly worrying about numbers, about your team, about marketing, about patients, all that stuff. And what I want to let you know is that if you are driving home and you feel just so exhausted, like you just feel so heavy, maybe even like borderline burned out or actually burned out, and you just want to get home and do nothing. Like you just want to numb out and unplug. And you probably have just a couple of hours, and then the next morning you have to wake up and repeat the whole thing. And you're just thinking, oh my gosh, like how am I going to make it work? This is just a lot. Here's what I want to tell you. There are two types of exhaustion that you're experiencing at the end of your work day. One type is physical exhaustion, and another type is what I call mental or emotional exhaustion. Let me explain. Physical exhaustion happens when you are obviously physically tired, right? You maybe didn't sleep enough, or maybe it's just the day of the cycle, or maybe you are sick, or maybe like me, you're 10 months pregnant and working, or, something physical, right? Like something's going on. Maybe you had an injury, or maybe it was like a really physically demanding day when you were running from chair to chair. There were so many things going on, and you are just physically really tired. So, how you know that your exhaustion is physical is by the way you solve it. How do we solve physical tiredness? We sleep and we rest. So, my friend, if you have a hard time going to falling asleep and you have racing thoughts, or if you stayed for 8 hours, maybe even 9 hours in bed, I know this definitely happened to me when I would spend 9 or even 10 hours in bed and only get like 6, 7 quality hours of sleep. If that's you, then it wasn't the physical exhaustion. It was the mental one. Because sleeping and resting, eating well, hydrating, all the normal things that your human body needs is what fixes the physical exhaustion. Typically, this one is an easy one to fix. So if you come home and you're tired, let's not drink 4 glasses of wine and watch Netflix. Let's just go to bed. And I know you know it, but it's my gentle reminder. If you have a night of sleep and you still feel heavy and tired, then you have what I call a mental exhaustion or a mental load. Now, the solution for the mental exhaustion is completely different. The great news is there's nothing you need to do. It's completely under your control to change that. The mental heaviness of owning a practice that you're experiencing is coming from, drum roll, not being in a saturated area, not being new, not by having bad staff, not by seeing too many patients, none of that. You know where it's coming from? It's coming from your thoughts. That's right. It's coming from the sentences that are running in your head. And that is the best news, my friends, because everybody around you is stressed out because they're focused on trying to control their circumstances. They're desperately trying to manage what's happening in their life. And have you noticed how little control we have over these things? We have completely full control over your thoughts, over your focus, and over your attitude. Yet, we think that we don't. We think that we have to change the outside circumstances. And listen, I'm very actionable. And this whole podcast and everything I do as a coach, especially as a business coach, right? I was first life coach, now I'm a business coach. I give you a lot of actionable advice that changes your circumstances. But my friend, if you only focus outwardly, you will still be burned out. You will still reach that success, the numbers that you thought will make you happy, and you're not going to be happy. Because it's not about that. It's about what's going on in your head. It's what you're focusing on. It's the thoughts that you have. The problem with that is that you are so habitually thinking them, you're not even realizing them. Things like you look at the schedule, maybe you're an orthodontist like me, you look at the schedule, you see 80 patients, and your first thought is, oh, it's going to be a busy day. That number 80 is a fact. You think it's going to be a busy day. I used to work for a practice where I saw 150 patients a day. For me, 80 patients a day was an easy day. Do you see what I'm saying? There are orthodontists that see 20 patients per day. For them, a 30 patient day is a busy day. If you're constantly seeing 80, 30 for you is an easy day. You get where I'm following? So what I want you to do is, I want you to start noticing what you're thinking about things. And then I want you to question it. Because whatever you believe about your team, about your patients, about being a practice owner is what's shaping the experience of owning a practice. And that's creating that mental load. Here's an example. Right now, at the time of this recording, there is a large DSO that is going out of business. They're closing 50 locations. Yesterday, I saw it on Facebook groups that everybody's talking about it. They're closing 50. I don't even know what it is. My guess is it's either Western Dental or maybe it's Dentology, one of these. And a lot of doctors are freaking out. I mean, makes sense, right? They're losing their employment. All of the associates or the doctors that sold their practice. And a lot of the time when you sell the practice, you have to, give up some equity to join this corporation. And so all of them are going out of business. Here's the power of your thoughts. I want you to think on your worst day in your own practice, on your worst day. You own this practice. You will never get a 2-week notice. You get to wake up tomorrow and go find the best patients. You get to wake up tomorrow and convert them at 90% or move the needle closer to converting every single patient. You get to decide what you charge. What a beautiful thing. You get to decide who you work with. This is amazing news, right? You never have to worry about working for somebody who maybe has less experience and is dictating you how to treat your patients, what kind of instruments to use, what kind of procedures to do. You don't have to worry about any of this because you own your own business. This is amazing. And I know your brain might be going, yeah, but it's really hard to do it. So is being an associate. But remember what I said, it's about your focus. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So when you have heavy days and you have high mental load, it means that your brain is focusing on the problems. And I want you to redirect it. And it will become easier the more you do it. Okay? I want you to really focus on how amazing it is to own a practice with all its ups and downs, because at the end of the day, nobody will ever let you go. Nobody will ever fire you. Nobody will ever reprimand you. You have control over your income. Did you realize that? No, as an associate, your income is capped. Your income is unlimited. It all depends on your schedule. I remember when I first started owning my own business, I was like, oh my God, it's like a Tuesday afternoon and I'm just going to Costco because I can, because I created my own schedule. This is amazing. And at the beginning, we really appreciated it. And it's so great. And then we get used to it and we forget. Don't forget. Keep a journal if you have to. Keep these reminders to yourself. As part of this podcast, I'm going to have a worksheet for you, as always, to help you with these reminders. I want you to keep these things fresh. It's like dating, right? At the beginning, everything's amazing. He's the best. He's amazing. His burps are hilarious. His socks that he puts on backwards are adorable. 10 years into marriage, it irritates the living Jesus out of you. Your focus changed, right? So in order for you to decrease your mental load, make sure that you're taking care of your body. Your patients can wait for you to go to the bathroom. They can wait, I promise you. We're not cardiothoracic surgeons and nobody's dying under, our hands. We can always stop. Anesthesia can always be extended. Brackets can always be removed and repositioned. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. You deserve to treat yourself as a human being that has physical needs, that needs water regularly, bathroom breaks not once in 7 hours. You deserve to have a day off, or 2 or 3 or 5. You deserve to have vacations. You deserve nice things. You work really hard. And I just want you to remember how amazing it is that we women get to have businesses. I think it was in the 60s that women finally were allowed to take a business loan. Can you imagine this? It is 2026 at the time of this recording. So it's been only, 60 years that we as women are allowed, at least in the United States, I don't even know other countries, that we're allowed to have our own business. We were not allowed to have a business. We were not allowed to have the problems that you have on a day-to-day basis. What a blessing. So let's start focusing there and watch your mental load go down. Every morning you're driving to work, I want you to remember what a privilege it is to be alive, to be a woman, to be serving your patients. Some of you are putting smiles on kids' faces or on adults' faces. This is fantastic. You're going to get somebody out of pain today. What a blessing. This will influence so many people in their life. You get to make money. You get to contribute to your family. You are standing, so you are able to solve problems. Thank God. So many people are not standing today. And I want to end this podcast episode with this thing that I heard online. I'm going to tell this to you as well. If I offered you $10 million today, would you take it? Here, I have a briefcase with cash. It's $10 million. Would you like that? Hopefully you said yes. Now, hopefully you said thank you. Now, there's one caveat. You can have that $10,000, but you don't get to wake up tomorrow. Do you still want that $10 million? You probably said no. So now I really want you to think. Your life, your day in life is worth more than $10 million. So tomorrow, when you wake up, I want you to remember that. This day that you get to go to work and deal with all of the problems is worth more than $10 million. So I want you to live this day like that. All right, my sweet friends. I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.